Welcome to the Talking Mortgage and Real Estate Podcast. What is the secret to success? How do successful people maintain their drive and desire? If you want answers to these and other questions, stay tuned. And now our host, John Collins.
So welcome everybody to another episode of Talking Mortgage and Real Estate. I am so excited today because I have the very excellent realtor and now book author who is Lisa Johnson Juden. And a little bit about Lisa. She's been in the business for 23 years. She was featured in D Magazine. You were on HGTV, House Hunters, and also you had a Reveal Network, Negotiators Luge. Did I say that right?
Luck. Negotiators Lux. Yeah, I was on
Well,
that show.
welcome to the show, Lisa. I am
Thank
so
you.
excited.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your past. Tell me how you got into real estate.
So that's kind of interesting because I was driving around the beverage cart at a golf course that I worked at in Flower Mound at Bridlewood. And I had just graduated from college and I did not know what I wanted to do. And I was just reaching out to anybody out there that maybe had a job for me. And it was a good business to be in just because there were a variety of different people out there. So I was asking all the regulars, hey, I'm done with school. What do you know anybody hiring? And Tim Spurgeon, he was working at Huntington Homes at the time. And he said, I don't know if you want to work out of a model home and be in new construction sales, but I could probably get you a job with Huntington. And I said, sure. I had no idea what they did at a model home, but I was like, that sounds awesome. So I took that job and I worked with Huntington and Highland Homes for about 2.5 years. And then I started as an agent in, I think it was 2003. I got my license and I've just kind of been nonstop since then. So that's kind of where I got that's kind of how my journey began.
So you had an interesting story in your book that in 2008, when the whole world basically fell apart for real estate, you ended up in a picture in the Dallas Morning News. Tell us about that.
I did, I was kind of mortified and I kind of cried, when I saw myself on the cover of the newspaper. That was just such a hard year for me. Actually, it was 2009. I had, I think, 3 transactions and I was used to making some good money. I had to work another job. Holly and Mo, which is Mike Madonna and Brett Hull, had a place, Dallas Stars. They had a place right next to my Ebby office in Uptown. And I was like, I think I'm just going to have to go get a little waitress job or a cocktail or do something because I need some money coming in. This is not supporting my lifestyle and I can't pay my bills with what I'm making right now in real estate. So I went over there for about 9 months and I ended up making a pretty significant amount of money there. And I met all the Dallas Stars players. My brother and my dad played hockey growing up. So, I was a real big hockey fan. And I still do business with a lot of people that I worked with or had as a regular. So it was kind of a win-win for me, even though I felt like I had to go back to something that I did in college, but I had to do what I had to do to survive.
But the interesting thing about that story is you never know. God puts you in places that you didn't want to be there, but some of those people ended up being your clients, which would not have happened otherwise.
I just closed on Monday with a girl that I worked with, and I've actually sold her, I think, 4 or 5 homes since then. So,
that's amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing. We all went through that. I got in the business in 2006 and lived through the meltdown myself in the mortgage side of it. And it was a depressing time. It was definitely taught us all a lot. And that's why today I just laugh because people say the market's so bad. And it's like, no, you don't know what bad is.
Exactly.
So how did you end up with Ebby then? When did you go with Ebby?
In 2008. So it's kind of
Oh,
funny.
okay.
So I was with a company called Dallas Online Realty, and I was there for about 4 or 5 years. And then in 2008, I remember telling my mom and dad, I was like, I'm going to make big bucks here. This is a big company, you know. And then it's like the market changed. I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Obviously, you have become one of the more successful people in the business in your area. What do you think makes you different than, because you are different, because there's a recipe for your success. What is that recipe you feel that you have?
You know, I love what I do, even though I've been doing this forever and I keep saying I want to retire, but I really do love it and I love working with my friends. And I think that I grew up here in Irving, and so I feel like that's my advantage is that I do have a lot of people here. I still have a lot of high school friends, and that's all I've helped like this year are my high school friends. And I went to college here. I went to UNT, so I know a lot of people. I know the area. I know. I mean, I could go all the way up to Hurst, Euless, Bedford, to Plano, to Salina. I mean, I know a lot of different areas. So I think that kind of makes me a little unique because I have been here. I'm a native Texan, and I've been here my whole life. And I think that people trust me, that I've been in the industry for a long time. And I'm a people person, and I genuinely love to help my friends and their friends.
Right, right. Yeah, that's great. So let's move into the book. How did you come about wanting to write the book? What was the
You know,
inspiration?
I keep looking at my book going, I cannot believe that I wrote a book because I'm not a writer. My mom is a writer and she has written 6 books, 6 novels. And I just looked at her. I was like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I had that talent. And then all of a sudden I was like, I've never really tried. So, let me just see if I can do this. And I started teaching a lot of classes at my EBI office. And so I taught about 5 different classes. And so I was like, okay, that's 5 different chapters. And so then I started putting all my chapters together. And I wanted to talk about creating good routines and habits. I wanted to talk about marketing. I wanted to talk about social media. I wanted to talk about getting out into the your neighborhoods and your city and your community. And I've already had these classes, so I already had all of that. And so then I just kind of started each chapter one at a time because I thought this is going to be a really good educational book for realtors, and I just wanted to get it out there. I'm a mentor as well, and so I just felt like I kept repeating myself, and I was like, I'm just putting this all in a book.
So it's almost to expand your reach of helping people, because
Yes, because I love
coaching.
to help
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Now let's tell everybody, if they see this one,
Uh-huh.
it's different than the one you held up,
Well,
because
yes.
go ahead.
So it is different. So this is called Mastering Your Circus. The one that you have in your hand is called A Realtor Circus. So I've had this book. I mean, so I got it published in December of 23.
Right.
And everyone that kept reading it was like, it's just not for realtors. It's for mortgage people. It's for insurance. And then a couple of my girlfriends were like, it's really good for owning your own business. And I go, oh, well. And then I thought, well, maybe I should change the title instead of A Realtor Circus to Mastering Your Circus. So it's the
Right.
same book. I just took out the word realtor in the whole book. So it's still, I mean, if you get a realtor circus, it's still fine. You're gonna
Sure.
learn the same thing. It's the
So,
same book. I just took
and
out that. Mhm.
that's one of the reviews that I was looking at, actually, was they said tips are not just for realtors. I was excited to read this book and get some tips, not just for realtors. I'm in the insurance industry, and Lisa definitely has some amazing ideas that I am able to put a twist on and use them in marketing. So this
Yeah.
really has had an impact on people beyond the real estate industry.
Yeah, and I was excited about that because when I was writing this, I was thinking this is just going to be for realtors,
Right.
and then once I kind of put it together, and then started passing it out to people, because I didn't let anyone read it while I was writing it, because I didn't think that I was going to ever finish it. And I was like, I'm just gonna see if I finish this. I just was like, I don't know, maybe I'm not gonna finish this. And then I did. And then so I was kind of scared, because this is my first book. I'm not a writer. And my mom kept saying, Lisa, you're a good writer. I
Yeah.
really like this. I think you're gonna help a lot of people. And so I was like, you really think so? And then my husband read it and he was like, wow, you do a lot. I was like,
But
I know I do.
I'm amazed that you found the time to write it, because anybody who's in this industry realizes how busy realtor schedules are.
Yeah.
Did you have to like lock yourself away in a room when you were getting ready to write, or?
No, no, and like I said, I was writing at each chapter. Like I would write a chapter and then I would kind of come back and then write a little bit more. So I would just kind of, whenever I felt like writing, I would. It took me about 4 months I think it was from about April to July. I started just writing, and I knocked it out. Like I got
That's great.
excited and I was just typing and writing and editing, and my mom edited it, and then I had sent it to the publishing company and they edited it. So it
So
was,
do you, all these ideas in the book, do you come up with them on your own, or is there a source of inspiration for you that
yeah.
gives you
No,
these
I
ideas?
think I pretty much came up with a lot of them. I mean, I've taught so many classes, and I mean, I've done client appreciation parties. I'm just kind of looking at it right now. I love client appreciation parties. I think that all agents should do that. The QR codes, I have QR codes in here. I think a lot of agents need to be doing QR codes in their marketing. My husband actually created that app called QR Pix, and
Uh-huh.
it's on the Apple Store. And then all your marketing and your social media and all your things that you need to be mailing out, and I think it's just all so necessary. And agents don't realize what they need to be doing sometimes.
What are your favorite chapters in the book? Which one's your go-to one?
Gosh, I love a lot of these chapters. I love the love chapter. It's one of my favorites, chapter 5, because I just love to love on my clients. I love to love on everything. Loving on your friends, loving on your listings, loving just living on everything is your city. I love to surprise my neighbors, do things like that.
So loving is really translated, I guess, into gratitude, just
Hmm.
an overall gratitude for the people that you deal with, which is
Yes.
great. People feel that. People feel that.
Yeah,
So
and that's one thing that I love to do. I love, like, I do my challenges in here. I love that chapter. I think everyone should challenge themselves, and I think that, and I love to do the client appreciation parties, because my clients are so good to me and I love to be good to them.
so talk to me about boundaries, because you have a chapter in the book that talks about boundaries, which I think is important for all of us in the type of business that we're in. So why is
Yes.
that important, and how do you maintain your boundaries?
You definitely have to set boundaries for yourself in this business. It can be crazy at some times, and I feel badly for my husband sometimes, because I feel like I'm always working. So I have to set aside my phone and turn it off whenever we eat dinner, or have happy hour with my husband at a certain time, and just connect with him instead of my being on my phone all the time. So that's
Right.
one or two things that I have to do for myself, you know?
Yeah. But realtors, I think, have difficulty because they also work on weekends.
Yeah.
And
We work all the time. It's like I was up at 7 o'clock and someone was scheduling a showing on one of my listings, and it has a tenant in they have a tenant in there. And so I was trying to do that while I was doing my prayer time. Usually I just
uh,
have my phone off, but it happened to be on, and I was like, oh man. So you kind of have to block those times out for yourself. because
Yeah.
it's a nonstop all day long. From like 9 o'clock last night, we're executing a deal on my other
Yeah.
listing. So it gets crazy.
So I'm a new realtor. I've just been in the business under a year. I buy your book. I read it. What's the most important thing you want them to get from this book?
So I would say if you're a new agent, just you have to kind of learn to be prepared at all times, because you never know when you're going to get that client, when you're going to get that listing, so you kind of need to get everything all in order. And, just keep reaching out to all the people that so that so they know that you, like, let me see. So they know you're in the business,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So because that's so important to let everybody know that you are in real estate, so they can call you at any time. But yeah, I would say that being prepared is probably the most thing that I want someone to get out of this book, because I mean, it's really just a basic book, and it takes like an hour and a half to read, and it's such a fun, whimsical book and it's very entertaining. And it's just each chapter you can say, okay, I'm going to do this chapter today. Okay, I'm going to do chapter 5, and I'm going to work on, I'm going to work on all of my. Let's see, is the fourth chapter is the love month. 5 chapter. Let me see, it's the fifth. Oh, fifth is the acts of love. And so and then if you want to say, okay, I'm going to work on my marketing today. So I'm going to get out chapter 4, and I'm going to do everything it says in here. I'm going to get photos done. I'm going to do lifestyle shots. I'm going to order magazines, football schedules, everything I need to do. So I think
And
it's a
you
great book.
ask thoughtful questions at the end of each chapter as well. And
Yeah. So I thought that was really good, because I just wanted people to kind of brainstorm and say, what do you need to create in order to expand your marketing needs? And then just kind of take a minute and brainstorm.
excellent idea. So what's next? Is there another book on the horizon? Have you
I
started?
don't
Has this
know.
inspired you?
I'm gonna see how this does, and then see what's next. I would love to do another one. I already have my 12 chapters picked out.
So you have been thinking about another one then.
Yeah, I already have my 12 chapters picked out, and I'm
I
ready for
love
another
it. I love it. Well, great. Well, look, it's been so exciting. The book, you can get the book on Amazon, correct?
one. And Barnes and Noble.
And Barnes and Noble. So if you want that, go pick it up. I'm in the mortgage business. I bought it immediately. I read it. It's an easy read. It's not, not heavy reading, but it's very enjoyable. I encourage everybody out there to go
Yeah,
out and get a copy of
very
this book.
straightforward. It's just an
Yes, it
easy,
is.
straightforward
And
book.
and I have to tell you, you are a joy, and it comes through your book.
Thank
And
you.
so thank you very much for being on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. And
All
I hope
right.
everyone enjoys my book.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.